boys, welcome to another video on the channel. We are back to preview the final game of the 2022 NRL season, the grand finale. Penrith Panthers take on the Parramatta Eels. Let's run it. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll run through the team list and we'll break them down in sections as we go through them. Starting with the back five, we got for the Panthers, Dylan Edwards, Charlie Staines, Isaac Tungle, Steve Crichton and Brian To'o. And for the Eels, we have Clint Gutherson, Micah Sivo, Will Bensini, Bailey Simonson and Wanga Blake. Alright, so who do we think has the better back five? I'll be honest, it's going to be tough to give Parramatta any advantage going through this team list. There will be a couple of moments where I do give Parramatta the edge, and for one, it's with the fullbacks here. Clint Gutherson is the more dynamic of the two. I'd say with Dylan Edwards, you know what you're getting, but Clint does have a much better passing game. He does offer more of a threat. It's tough to say because Dylan makes up for his, I guess, lack of ball playing with his effort and work rate. They'll both have an impact on the game, but in different ways. As for the quote-unquote weak links, for Parramatta, it's easily that right edge and Wanga Blake on the wing. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. We saw what happened last time they played. Nathan Cleary terrorized Wanga with the high ball. Could we see the same from Moses to Charlie Staines? Maybe. I'd actually like to see Moses throw up high balls all night for Brian To'o, as weird as that sounds, as he's been a little susceptible to the high ball in the past. One thing we know for sure is that someone's kicking game will be implemented, as if both these teams have the halfbacks to actually do the job. Speaking of halfbacks, let's get to the halves here and compare the two. We have Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary for the Panthers going up against Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses for the Parramatta Eels. Now, rating the halves as a duo and in form, I'd slightly give the edge to Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses. Comparing one against the other, it's clear cut for Nathan Cleary in my opinion, and for the other side, it's clear cut for Dylan Brown. Cleary, in my opinion, is the best halfback in the league, and Dylan Brown is like a close number two. You could even argue he's the best 5'8" in the league, but I'd still give that to Cam Munster. Of the head-to-head battles, this is up there with one of the most anticipated for me. It's Nathan Cleary going up against Dylan Brown. I'm pretty keen to see who'll have more of an impact on the match. A lot of that will come down to how much of an impact their forward packs will have on the match. So let's get to it. Starting off in the front row for the Panthers, we have Moses Leota, Api Koroisau. I think it'll be Mitch Kenny starting. James Fisher-Harris, who should have been in the front row of the year in my opinion. That's coming from a Broncos supporter. Back row, we got Viliame Kikau, Liam Martin and Isaiah Yeo. And for the Eels, we have Regan Campbell-Gillard, Reid Marnie, Junior Paulo. In the back row, we have Sean Lane and Isaiah Papali'i. And their lock, Ryan Madison. How very good does this head-to-head look on paper? For the front row, I'll give to the Panthers. I think Api's the difference, super influential. We've seen most of, if not all, the games he's played this season. The difference for Parramatta in the front row compared to Penrith is Junior Paulo. He's more three-dimensional, as Leota, Campbell-Gillard and Fisher-Harris are your more traditional front rowers. In the back row, it's not even close in my opinion, as controversial as it sounds. Sean Lane and Isaiah Papali'i. Sean Lane has hands down been the best back rower in finals. Let's make that clear, in finals. As for Ice, we've seen what he can do. We haven't really seen it this final series, as he's been getting proper worked out in defense. At lock, I mean, it's Isaiah Yeo, and it ain't close. He's been at the forefront of this evolution of the modern day lock. And we'll quickly go through the bench as well, as I do want to talk about the forward pack and the bench as a collective. For the Panthers, you have Mitch Kenny, Scott Sorensen, Spencer Lemieux, and Jamin Salmon. And for the Eels, we have Nathan Brown, Jake Arthur, Oregon Galfusi, and Murata Niukore. In regards to the bench, the talk of the Parramatta Eels is the selection of Jake Arthur, who has been a contingency selection thus far throughout finals. I don't even think he played any minutes last week, but they've gone with him again. They've gotten rid of Bryce Cartwright and brought in Nathan Brown. I actually dig that change for the Eels. They've got enough Bryce Cartwright type players on the field already in Sean Lane and Ryan Madison. Bringing in a enforcer like Nathan Brown, you're going to need him for a pack like Penrith. So last week we questioned whether Parramatta could, their forward pack, whether they could go the distance against the Cowboys, and they proved us wrong. The question now is, can they do it in back-to-back weeks against the best forward pack in the league? Their endurance will definitely be tested this week. I talked about how the Cowboys could potentially tackle the Parramatta Eels into submission. With this Penrith pack, there's no ifs, ands or buts. They could do that. They've been doing that this whole season. So yeah, the battle between both forward packs and the bench is what I'm most excited for in this match. The first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes will be pretty interesting. I hope it's a close game. As for who I think would win, I'd like for Parra to win, but I think Penrith might edge them. It'll be a battle of attrition between the forward packs, and a lot will ride on how much dirty work the back 5 will get through. Or should we say effective dirty work? Again, it's hard to look past Penrith when we talk about that aspect of the game. There's so many aspects and layers and scenarios to think about, but ultimately I do think the Panthers will edge them in most scenarios. That and the effort that Para put in last week, I'm wondering if they could back that up. I guess one thing Para do have going for them is that Penrith in the opening stages haven't looked the cleanest, and it's taken them a while to find their groove, so there's that. And Parramatta have the ability to dominate sides in those early stages of the game, and you could say won games off the back of how dominant their first opening 20 to 30 minutes. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, who you think would win. Will the Panthers go back to back, or will Parramatta break the drought? As always, if you enjoyed that and would like to see more rugby league related content or more content in general, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later.